Thanks for joining me today. I haven't got around to sending so many videos this week, but what I wanted to touch on today was this piece of the fact that we're teaching a language when we're teaching maths. I've just been looking at this whole piece where, when we teach to a rectangle and show a multiplication as a rectangle with color consistent manipulatives and a consistent model, then cognitive load is significantly reduced for the student. The other beautiful piece is that we can make this transition from where we've actually built a rectangle and seen, my across factor, my up factor, my area, the number of square units contained in that particular rectangle. When I'm looking at that as a multiplication question, I call my across factor the multiplicand, the up factor a multiplier, and the area or the product in the center. But I can take that same rectangle and apply that to when I'm looking at division, where now all of a sudden with division, and if you think about a long division symbol, in division I'm given the dividend, or if you relate it to multiplication, the area. I'm shown one of the factors of that particular rectangle or the divisor, and I need to find the quotient or the part that's in question. So do you see this link between factors and finding the area, and now divisors and dividends, and we're finding our quotient? It's a really interesting piece, because when you extend the student beyond this understanding from those particular names or words that we use to describe something where we've got different unknowns, whether it's multiplication or division, then when we come into factoring and reducing fractions and finding prime factors, we've got all of the information. Because if you think about a greatest common factor or a common factor, it can also be called a common divisor. Reason being, because there's a rectangle that has factors that we can find or divisors. They're actually the same pieces of the part of the rectangle. So I'm not sure if you can understand that without me showing you a picture. Please get in touch with us if you want to know a bit more, or come and do some training, the multiplication division training in particular. But what I'm seeing more and more is this beauty of where if we start at the concrete and start very simply, ensure that we're teaching in a highly cumulative way, the way maths is, and not overloading the student, but giving them opportunities to master each component, then the student can actually progress much faster. I remember somebody in one of my trainings talking about this concept of hastening slowly, and that's really the piece that we need to look at is let's go slow, ensure we have foundations so that then the student can actually progress much faster, and we're not having to undo or unravel pieces where we haven't actually been accurate and clear and explicit with our instruction. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.